So I will present an overview of Australian demographics and economy. So Australia has a population of 26.9 million people with a growth rate of 1.8%. The median age is 38.8 years and life expectancy is 83.5 years. So reflecting a high quality of life. So Australia is a multicultural nation. So Christianity is the largest religion at 43.9%, while 38.9% of people identify with no religion. The population consists mainly of people with European and Asian backgrounds, alongside indigenous Australians and many other ethnic groups also. So we focus on economy. Economically, for Australia remains one of the world's strongest developed economies with a nominal GDP of AUD 2.29 trillion in 2025. So inflation and unemployment remain relatively stable, supporting continued in economic growth. So Australia also used the Australian dollar or AUD and operates under a federal parliamentary, democratic and constitutional monarchy. So the key industry driving the economy include the mining, agriculture, manufacturing, service, constructions, and also renewable energy. So in conclusions, Australia is a diverse, prosperous, and economically resilient country with strong governance and a high standard of living. So I will present an overview of Australian demographics and economy. So Australia has a population of 26.9 million people with a growth rate of 1.8%. The median age is 38.8 years and life expectancy is 83.5 years. So reflecting a high quality of life. So Australia is a multicultural nation. So Christianity is the largest religion at 43.9%, while 38.9% of people identify with no religion. The population consists mainly of people with European and Asian backgrounds, alongside indigenous Australians and many other ethnic groups also. So we focus on economy. Economically, for Australia remains one of the world's strongest developed economies with a nominal GDP of AUD 2.29 trillion in 2025. So inflation and unemployment remain relatively stable, supporting continued in economic growth. So Australia also used the Australian dollar or AUD and operates under a federal parliamentary, democratic and constitutional monarchy. So the key industry driving the economy include the mining, agriculture, manufacturing, service, constructions, and also renewable energy. So in conclusions, Australia is a diverse, prosperous, and economically resilient country with strong governance and a high standard of living.
So I will proceed with deep dive into labels, which is the labor laws of Australia. So labor laws of Australia is governed by the Fair Work 2009, which is to protect the employees' rights and working conditions. So first of all, the national wage in Australia, which is the government pay 24.95 per hour of the wage of for the employees. And per week, the government will pay the employees in 948 AUD based on the 38 hours per hour of week. So this wage determined through the modern awards, enterprise agreement, and employed contract, and also the employer must pay the workers correctly and on time. So the second is full-time employees are generally work at 38 hours per week. So overtime also is allowed but it is must have a reasonable to the employees to work on overtime or the out of the work time. So next is although there is no fixed weekend rest day under the law, the most employees works on 5 days and receive the 2 days of um, the rest day. And the last is employees are entitled to several types of leave, which is the annual leave for holiday, personal leave for illness, imposition leave for family emergencies, parental leave is for parental leave, and a long service for employees who stay with the same employer for many years. So overall, the laws also ensure to fair pay, reasonable working hours, and employees' welfare in Australia.
Next is the foreign worker policies, which is quotas. The Australian government capped the total permanent migration intake at around 100,000 places. Next is the skill and family split. Uh, to address labor market deficit, the program is ultimate around an approximate 70-30 split, allocating 100,000 to 250 places to the skilled migration stream and 52 plus places to the family stream. Next is onshore prioritization. The government have heavily prioritized onshore application. Around 100,000 places are allocated specifically to onshore transition. This strategy provides a pathway for proven workers while capping the impact on net overseas migration. Lastly is employer-sponsored push. Within the skilled stream, the employer-sponsored category received a massive share of 150,000 places, allowing local businesses to directly transition their temporary foreign staff into permanent roles. Okay, let's move on to Social Security. Tax-funded system. Unlike many countries where Social Security is an insurance fund built from specific employee payroll deduction, Australia's social safety net is like welfare, unemployment benefit, and pension is funded directly out of general tax revenues. Next is the eligibility gaps. Income support payment like job seeker is strictly mean tested based on an individually assets and income. Crucially, temporary foreign worker uh, have no access to this benefit. Social security is tightly restricted to Australian citizens and permanent residents who have met statutory waiting period. And lastly is superannuation. While temporary workers cannot access unemployment welfare, they are entitled to Australian compulsory retirement plan known as superannuation. Employers must pay a percentage of the worker earning into a super fund when a foreign worker permanently leave Australia. They cannot reclaim this money via the departing Australian superannuation payment. We move on to termination. Termination, it happens if less than a year of service, the worker would get 1 week notice. 1 to 3 years of service, 2 week notice. 3 to 5 years means there is the third week notice, and more than 5 years, the worker would get 4 week notice. Redundancy pay severance if an employee is terminated because their job is no longer needed. They are entitled to redundancy pay. This range from 4 weeks of severance pay up to a maximum of 16 weeks of pay. The small business exemption under the Small Business Fair Dismissal Code, small businesses employing fewer than 15 people are legally exempt from paying statutory redundancy severance. Next, we're going to move on to trade unions. The first one is legal status. Under the Fair Work Act 2009, unions are formally registered entities with immense institutional power in Australia's industrial landscape. Next is the enterprise bargaining. Unions act as official bargaining representative. They negotiate enterprise agreements such as collective workplace agreement that establish pay scales, conditions, and benefits that must leave workers better off overall than the baseline national industry standard awards. Next, we move on to a right of entry. Authorized unions officials who hold valid permits possess the legal right of entry to enter commercial premises to investigate suspected breaches of workplace laws, check occupational health and safety record, or hold discussion with employees during break time.
Greetings to Doctor. My name is Leslie Chong Xiaoying, and now I will continue for this session. So this session is discuss Australia Labour Law Framework, focusing on women employment, child labour laws, and retirement age. First, for women employment, Australia promotes gender equality through policies such as paid parental leave, flexible working arrangement, anti-discrimination laws, and equal employment opportunities. In 2024, the female labour force participant rate reached 63.5%. Second, regarding child labour laws, Australia has strict regulations to protect children. The minimum working age is generally between 13 and 15 years, depending on the state and type of work. Hazardous work is prohibited, education is compulsory, and government authorities actively monitoring compliance. So finally, for retirement age, Australia does not have a mandatory retirement age. Individuals become eligible for the age pension at 67 years old. The retirement system is supported by the superannuation scheme and encourage all the workers to remain active in the workplace. So in conclusion, Australia Labour Law aims to protect workers, support gender equality, safeguard children, and provide financial security during retirement. Next, this slide highlights the key similarity between the industrial relations system of Malaysia and Australia. Although both countries have different labour framework, they share several common foundations. First, both countries have employment protection laws that safeguard worker rights, workplace safety, and fair employment standards. Second, trade unions are legally recognized in both countries. These unions represent employees, support collective bargaining, and help resolve workplace disputes. Third, both countries provide social security and welfare protection. Australia offers schemes such as superannuation and age pension, while Malaysia provides EPF and SOCSO to support workers' financial security. In addition, both countries protect women and young workers through anti-discrimination policies, maternity protection, and child labour regulation. Government is in both countries also play an active role in labour law enforcement, workplace inspection, and policy development. Despite these similarities, Malaysia and Australia face common challenges including digital transformation, skills shortage and aging workforce, flexible work arrangement, and workforce diversity. Overall, both countries aim to protect workers, promote employee welfare, and maintain harmonious industrial relations for sustainable economic growth. Finally, I will discuss the major policy differences and lessons learned. Australia adopts a more employee-central industrial relations system. Minimum wage are reviewed by the Independent Fair Work Commissions. Trade unions have strong collective bargaining rights, and migration policies focus on attracting skilled workers. Malaysia, on the other hand, follow a more government-regulated approach. Minimum wage are determined by the government. Labour migration is managed through quota and levies, and retirement planning is strongly supported through the EPF system. From Australia's experience, Malaysia can learn the benefits of flexible work arrangement, active aging employment, stronger collective bargaining, and policies that encourage greater female workforce participation. Meanwhile, Australia can learn from Malaysia's experience in managing foreign workers, strengthening regulation oversight, and promoting structured retirement planning. In conclusion, while Australia and Malaysia have different industrial relations systems, both aim to protect workers and support economic development. By learning from each other's strengths, both countries can continue improving employee welfare, workforce participation, and industrial harmony. That's all for me. Thank you.